Welcome to the Blueprint Room. This is where financial chaos stops being random and starts becoming structural. This is where we stop reacting to the market like frightened passengers and start thinking like engineers. In Briefing 13, we mapped the problem. We saw that most retirement plans do not fail because people do not work hard enough. They fail because the structure has no tolerance for pressure. They are built with confidence, but not with margin. They are built to look fine on paper, but not to survive reality. That is why today's briefing matters. Because if you do not understand margin of safety, you are not really planning for retirement. You are just hoping the structure holds. And hope is not a plan. So today, we build the first real defense. We design margin. Most retirement plans run on what I call margin of safety 1.0. That means zero meaningful buffer, no extra room for market drops, no flexibility for inflation, no real protection for bad timing, no structural tolerance for life happening exactly when it should not. The problem is not that people expect the market to go up. The problem is that they expect the market to go up in a straight line. They expect their paycheck to stay stable. They expect withdrawals to remain harmless. They expect inflation to behave. They expect their portfolio to recover before they need the money. But retirement does not live inside perfect conditions. It lives inside sequence risk, inflation risk, behavior risk, and timing risk. A 30% market drop does not just reduce your balance, it reduces your options. It makes the same withdrawal rate more dangerous. It makes your recovery slower. It makes every future mistake more expensive. That is what a weak structure does. It turns one event into a chain reaction. If the system is built with no margin, then any shock becomes structural. And once the structure is weak, even a small bump can become a collapse. That is why this has to change. A real retirement plan must survive decades, not months. And over 3 decades, you will not get a smooth ride. You will get recessions. You will get inflation spikes. You will get emotional panic. You will get policy changes. You will get health surprises. You will get seasons where the numbers look wrong, even when the plan is right. The purpose of a stress test is simple. It is not to see whether the plan looks nice. It is to see whether the plan still works when the world stops cooperating. Because the world will stop cooperating. That is not pessimism. That is engineering. The best engineers never ask, can this work under ideal conditions? They ask, what happens when it is pushed? That is the question your retirement plan must answer. What happens if returns are lower than expected? What happens if inflation stays sticky? What happens if you need to withdraw while the market is down? What happens if fear makes you sell too early? If your answer to those questions is unclear, then your structure is not ready. And if your structure is not ready, then your margin is too thin. So here is the audit. 4 questions, 4 tests, 4 places where most plans quietly break. First, cash buffer. If your portfolio has no short-term cushion, then every drawdown hits harder. A good structure needs breathing room. A good retirement plan needs liquidity. You should know how long you can live without selling growth assets at the wrong time. Second, withdrawal flexibility. If your plan depends on a fixed withdrawal rate, no matter what the market does, then you are exposing the structure to unnecessary stress. You need room to reduce, delay, or adjust. A rigid withdrawal plan is not strength, it is fragility disguised as discipline. Third, asset mix. If your portfolio is too concentrated, too aggressive, or too dependent on one outcome, then it does not have margin. A stronger mix does not try to predict the future. It survives the future. Fourth, rebalance rules. If your plan only works when you feel calm, it will fail when you do not. Rules remove emotion. Rules protect the structure. Rules keep the load path intact when panic shows up. So ask yourself honestly, does your plan have cash margin? Does it have withdrawal margin? Does it have asset margin? Does it have behavior margin? If not, the structure is still too thin. Now we retrofit. Not with fear, not with guesswork, with structure. The first move is to widen the safety zone. The second move is to reduce the chances that one bad year destroys the next 10. The third move is to make your retirement system less fragile and more forgiving. The simplest way to think about margin is this. If the plan only works when everything goes right, then it is not a plan. It is a hope wrapped in numbers. A real plan expects friction. It expects mistakes. It expects bad seasons. And because it expects them, it is ready for them. So here is the retrofit. Keep enough cash so you are not forced to sell at the wrong time. Keep your withdrawal strategy flexible enough to adapt. Keep your allocation balanced enough to survive a shock. Keep your rebalance rules automatic enough to remove emotion. That is not overcaution. That is design. A strong structure does not need perfection. It needs tolerance. It needs margin. It needs enough room to absorb the unexpected without collapsing. That is what protects wealth over 30 years. Not brilliance, not luck. Margin. Final orders. Stop asking whether your plan looks good in a spreadsheet. Ask whether it survives pressure in the real world. If the answer is no, then your next job is not to dream bigger. Your next job is to build more margin.
Run the audit tonight. If this helped, like the video and subscribe for the next briefing. Comment margin if you want the next Blueprint Room episode. Check the Structural Audit Series playlist for the full system.
And I will see you in the next briefing.